The air intake, fuel injection and engine management systems have a number of interesting new features we'll deal with in this final part of the programme. But before doing so, it's worth noting the neatness with which this Ford Cosworth V6 has been installed. For the owner lifting the bonnet, it's a gratifying sight. For you in the workshop, be assured the various covers are easily removed for service work. Among the new features on the air intake system is a new type of air mass meter that precisely measures the flow of air into the engine. In effect, it's a heated element positioned in the air stream close to the air filter. In operation, it's programmed to be kept at a defined temperature. As air flows past the element, so it tends to cool, and so more current is required to maintain its temperature. As the airflow reduces, less current is required. This variation in current is monitored by the EEC4 module to read minute variations in the volume of air being drawn into the engine. Not only is the system highly effective, it's also highly efficient and needs no service attention. The throttle housing includes progressive twin throttle plates. Under light throttle, the smaller plate opens. As acceleration increases, the larger plate opens. These throttle positions are monitored by the throttle position sensor that signals the precise positions to the EEC4 module. A component you'll recognize is the idle speed control valve. Controlled by EEC4, it allows a limited air bypass when the throttle plates are closed. And should you need to remove the air plenum chamber, note that it's secured by 6 nuts and that the one to the front of the chamber has an integral gasket. The bore for this stud passes straight through the chamber, and this gasket prevents any air leaks. When you do remove the chamber, a small point, disconnect and then block the EGR inlet pipe away from the chamber, otherwise it snags. The EGR valve itself is located beside the right-hand cylinder head. With the plenum chamber removed, you'll see that the fuel rail is a new design with its pressure regulator bolted to the side. As mentioned earlier in the programme, the multi-point fuel injection system is banked, with EEC4 controlling the volume of fuel injected to each cylinder. The new engine's ignition system is distributorless, known as eDIS-6. In operation, this is exactly the same as the familiar eDIS-4, but with the addition of 2 cylinders to the circuitry. As on eDIS-4, 2 cylinders are fired simultaneously. The high-tension leads to the spark plugs are neatly routed beneath a plastic cover, which has to be removed to reach the connectors and plugs. The only point on spark plugs is to remember to use a magnetized socket and be careful about removal and replacement. A final point concerns the crankshaft position sensor. On this new V6, it's located at the front of the engine. Its job is to detect and signal the precise speed and position of the crank to the EEC4 module, and it can't be adjusted in service. This EEC4 module, positioned inside the car as usual on Scorpio, has a much increased capacity that brings a particular service benefit in the form of its extended self-test capability. A new 3-digit star tester has been developed, which must be used on this vehicle to take advantage of that capability. The procedures for use are precisely the same as on the standard 2.9-litre V6 vehicles, and test codes are contained in your test manual. Apart from these few service points, you'll find most other work precisely as for the standard Granada Scorpio vehicles, using exactly the same equipment. There are only 3 new special tools that are either new or adapted from existing tools. They are for removal and installation of valve springs to replace the valve stem seals. All in all, for such an advanced engine, its service requirement is remarkably straightforward, a feature that should please all who are faced with this new Ford Cosworth unit in the workshop.